Hello everybody. In this video, we will try to understand what happens when Ketu is in the first house in the sign of Aries in Ashwini nakshatra third pada. So when Ketu is in the first house in the sign of Aries in Ashwini nakshatra third pada, it creates spiritual karma and also identity detachment. So, as it is in the first house and Ketu is very much famous for detachment, so the problem of identity detachment arises. And also in this video we will try to understand what is the impact of this third pada of Ashwini, as it is lying in the Gemini Navamsha, means whenever a planet is present in Ashwini nakshatra third pada, that planet automatically goes to the sign of Gemini in the Navamsha chakra. So, and we know Gemini is basically ruled by Mercury. So the mercurial energy also tries to manifest here. So the first house, that is the Lagna house, basically governs your self-identity, your physical appearance, your physical body, your approach towards your own life and your vitality as well. So Ketu, being a headless shadow planet, is present here. It tends to create a kind of disconnection, invisibility, or lack of desire for the house significations. So in the first house, the native often feels disconnected from the self itself, or has an unclear sense of identity, and the native may appear mysterious sometimes, spiritual or unconventional also, because Ketu is a kind of unconventional planetary energy. And as Ketu is in the first house, Rahu is in the seventh house. So here we also discuss on relationships. So as Rahu is in the seventh house, the spouse would have more emotional attachment towards the native, but the native would have some kind of emotional attachment with wife. So for the native, life feels like a search for purpose, often through spirituality, detachment, and I'm telling you, these people, means the people having Ketu in the first house, they have a lot of freedom of thought. So they do not have much material attachment. That is the important pattern observed in all these people. And when this particular, as this Ketu is in the sign of Aries, which is a Martian fire, and Aries is ruled by this particular Mars, a planet of initiative, action and courage. So Mars has to express its energy here. And also Mercury also has to express here, because the Ketu is in the Ashwini third pada in the Navamsha chakra, it goes to the sign of Gemini. So Mercury also tries to express its energy, but totally you would see Ketu is the fundamental behavior here. So I will explain this much more clearly. See, Ketu is in the sign of Aries, so Martian qualities. So you would see the person for outward world, the person would appear like a warrior, but inside he has lot of spirituality, because Ketu is present in the first house. But outside, as it is the Aries sign, that is what expresses its energy. So basically, this person is called as a spiritual warrior. It's something like courage exists. Courage exists, definitely, but without attachment to outcome, right? So the person may act without clear motivation or with sudden impulse, followed by some kind of regret or withdrawal. Why I did it, kind of energy can be seen because of this Martian energy with Ketu energy inside. Also, there is a kind of strong individualism, but with a detached ego or lack of self awareness can also be observed. And another important thing is here the Gemini Navamsha. So, Ashwini is the first nakshatra. It is ruled by Ketu, and it is basically symbolized by horse-headed twins called as Ashwini Kumaras. So there is, in our Puranic stories, there is no medical problem that these Ashwini Kumaras could not treat. So they can treat any problem, they can solve any medical problem. And they are very much famous for speed, healing, starting any work. That is a kind of very good initiative energy, and they possess strong healing gifts, right? So Ketu in the first house, in the sign of Aries, in Ashwini nakshatra third pada, people generally have these healing gifts as well. They can be very good at alternative medicine. They can be good at Reiki healing. They can be good at any kind of energetic healing. They can be good doctors. They can have some quick solutions as well. So basically this Gemini Navamsha we need to talk about. So the mercurial energy is coming into the picture. This energy brings intellectual sharpness, communication ability, and curiosity. That is what Gemini is basically. Because if you observe the Gemini, the heart of Gemini consists of Arudra nakshatra, the seed of Rahu energy, which is actually, till Mrigasira, if you compare this whole zodiac evolution with respect to the evolution of the universe or evolution of the energies, till this Arudra nakshatra was born, there was no concept called intellectuality. There was no concept called intelligence. So Arudra was the nakshatra where intelligence was born, we say. Before that, things were very, very, very happy, or something like everything was happy, everything, whatever was existing, the whole universe was enjoying it. But nothing was known if something was really, this is all Maya or not, or what is all this universe doing here, right? This kind of intellectuality, right, was not born till Arudra nakshatra was born. So this Gemini is basically, it is the intellectual sharpness, we say. It has that communication ability and curiosity, So the native is very, very, very good at, the native is basically verbally skilled, we say. He can be multilingual as well. He has a kind of quick intelligence. He has healing through speech or writing. They can be very good counselors, authors, spiritual teachers if Mercury is very nicely placed in the Gemini, in the Navamsha chakra. Because Ketu is going to be in the sign of Gemini in the Navamsha chakra. Now it is our responsibility to check the dignity of Mercury in the Navamsha chakra. If the dignity of Mercury in the Navamsha chakra is very good, then yes, the native can become a very good counselor, very good author, very good spiritual teacher. And of course, the native may have some inner mental restlessness if that Mercury is somewhere afflicted or somewhere it is negative. Or the native has something like he moves from one identity to another identity, or he moves from one idea to another idea very quickly, right? So this is where this mercurial energy is a bit disturbed in the Navamsha chakra. And the native can appear very clever externally, but still he feels internally directionless. He is directionless internally, right? If Mercury is very good, then yes, some of the good things can happen, like he can be a very good counselor or author or spiritual teacher. But if Mercury is negative, or its dignity is not very good, then yes, you can say the native would face the problem of inner mental restlessness, and also he would move from one idea to another idea very, very quickly, so that no idea is actually being manifested. And of course, the fundamental or general thing that you can observe with Ketu and Ashwini nakshatra 3 in the first house is the native would appear very clever externally, but internally he is a bit directionless because of this Ketu's energy. So basically, his mind seems to be a kind of restless, a scattered thoughts due to this Gemini influence, because Gemini is about that scattered thoughts. And he feels disconnected from own opinions. From his own opinion, he feels like very much disconnected. It's his own opinion, but he feels like he is disconnected from his own opinion. And the speech, mainly, I observed most of the people having Ketu in the Ashwini nakshatra third pada, because Ketu is going in the sign of Gemini in the Navamsha, and let us say the Mercury dignity is, even if it is average, I observed these people are highly articulate, right? They may speak, kind of very, very highly articulated speech I observed from them, right? And one more thing is, anywhere, see, this Gemini, Navamsha, Mercury is a bit good, so their speech is very much articulated. But the problem here is, however they speak, they may talk very beautifully, they may articulate very nicely, but they always speak without emotional attachment. That is another thing, because Ketu has to show its behavior, right? And they are very good learners, very quick learners basically, and it's a kind of I don't know how much information they would gather. They're very quick learners, but for me, I when I see them, I thought they're learning so much, they're learning so many things, they're quick learners also. I'm sure they would face this information fatigue for sure somewhere in their life. And they have a lot of healing gifts. It's something like they can be, because through words, they can heal you, I can say that. Kind of, even they can be good at this hypnotherapy. We say we in the modern world, we have this hypnotherapy, a kind of working with energies, with words basically, with their speech and all. They can work these areas also because of these energies. They can be good at them, but their speech is really, if second lord in the Lagna chart is also good, yes, then they can be very great speakers also. And Ketu is in the first house, so Rahu automatically sits in the seventh house. That's where this relationships, public image, partners, this thing is impacted, right? So this is something like the partners have more emotional attachment, but the native has emotional detachment. And the person may seek ideal partners, glamorous public connections would also be there, but with dissatisfaction So here, as Rahu is in the Libra, it wants, means the spouse may want this kind of balance, harmony, relationships and all. But the native is a kind of, he is not interested in these emotional entanglements. But still, as it is falling in the mercurial Navamsha, that is in the Gemini sign in the Navamsha chakra, at least the native would be is a kind of in a good situation, I would say. Through words or through soft communication, he can save the relationship, right? And the Navamsha is really saving this particular placement, I can say, right? Because Gemini brings this mercurial qualities into Ketu's expression, right? So what is Mercury? Mercury is very much famous for this intellectualism and humor, adaptability, dual nature. So they can adopt the things very easily, right? So that is where their, this Ashwini nakshatra third pada is saved, I would always feel. And but still Ketu is present. So there's a kind of problematic behavior here, but still, as mercurial energy has to shown up, it is a bit saved. But still, if Mercury's dignity is not good, I'm telling you again, in the Navamsha chakra, if Mercury's dignity is not good, then yes, struggles with consistency in thought or speech is really evident. And also a kind of mental detachment, identity confusion, right? So the person may act like different people in different contexts. This kind of behavior, because Mercury is not so fine in the Navamsha. If in the Navamsha Mercury is not fine for this particular people, Ketu and Ashwini 3, I observed this particular behavior, that they may act like different people in different contexts for sure. There is no other go here. So for overall picture, you need to check the Mercury's dignity in the Navamsha chakra. Even Mars' dignity in the Navamsha chakra is also very much important, because Mars is the ruler of the sign of Aries. So if Mercury has good strength, yes. If Mercury is strong, then yes, the person can express this Ketu's wisdom like anything, right? The wisdom is something like peaks, more than Jupiter also, sometimes, right? But weak Mercury, if Mercury is weak, yes, it may lead to some kind of nervousness, scattered thoughts, kind of behaving like different people in different context. And also the person would struggle with consistency in the speech, or consistency in his thoughts, in his ideas, because this Gemini is all about that thoughts, speech, communication. These all would scatter, these all would become a bit problematic, because Mercury's dignity is not good in the Navamsha. If Mercury's dignity is good, yes, a person can express this Ketu's behavior in his speech, in his communication, in his in his thoughts very, very nicely, very, very greatly. And now Mars dignity. See, Mars is the dispositor of this Aries sign. So strong Mars basically helps this particular, it can drive the impulses, the courage, the energy of the person very, very nicely, very, very much channelized. But if the Mars is very much weak, the kind of the strength is something like it is disturbed, then the identity crisis would become much more enhanced. He would be struggling with that identity crisis. So that is the fundamental energy of this particular placement. And spirituality is one important thing that they can have. They are generally as it is Mercurial Navamsha is also coming into the picture, they can be very much into this yoga and mantras also, a kind of intellectual spirituality, we can say. And relationships, the same thing. He has a kind of emotional detachment, and the spouse may have more emotional uh, uh, emotional attachment. So the person generally attract more emotionally needy partners, but they want more emotion. But what about this guy, this native? He is into this kind of emotional detachment, but at least he would be able to manage. If Mercury's dignity in the Navamsha is good, he can be able to manage this particular emotional needs of the spouse by his words or speech or communication. So generally it is a very good placement. If Mercury is good and Mars is good, they can be very good healers, doctors, therapists, astrologers, teachers, speakers, writers. They can change their jobs also very often, and they like to change, and they can do that also if Mercury's dignity is very good. So this is the placement, and I'm telling you, if this particular Ketu is in the first house is impacting you negatively, first of all, you should do pranayama, you should worship Lord Ganesha, you should chant Ketu mantra every day 108 times, at least on Tuesday and Saturday you should chant 108 times as a mantra for Mercury. If Mercury is not so comfortable, because if Mercury is not comfortable in the Navamsha, it's afflicted, or uh, it's not working, it's working negatively, then if you just chant Mercury mantra, Mercury would be really easily, he would give you some good things. That's why I also prefer these people do some Mercury chanting every day 108 times. That is a very good thing. And service through words, right? So something like teaching is a kind of serving through words only, right? And also counseling is also another important thing, that is also service through words. That is another important. Once Mercury is appeased, Mercury is pleased by your chanting and mantras, then yes, service through words and all is very good. Avoid too many distractions, first of all, in this age of digital digital things. It's very difficult for you, but still avoid too many distractions. If you're because your thoughts would be scattered, your ideas and your speech, if they are disturbed, because especially if Mercury is not so comfortable. And also another important thing, you should be cautious in your relationships, because your spouse or your partners, your relationship, they want more emotional, they have more emotional needs, but you are a bit emotionally detached, so you have to respect their emotions also. You may think they are doing some manipulation or something, but it is not. They are in need of emotions. You are emotionally detached and you may think it is very normal, but it's not normal. The other people may want more emotional attachment. So understand that and use your words and speech or communication to manage all these things. So that is the whole idea of this particular placement. So thanks for watching this video. In the next video we'll try to understand uh, Ketu in the Ashwini nakshatra, 4th pada in the first house, that is Aries. So in the first house of your horoscope in the sign of Aries, first house can be, in future I will make videos, first house moving to Taurus, right? So then automatically Ketu would be somewhere in Kritika, Rohini or Mrugashira, right? Those are all things, how this nakshatra energies are also influenced, because basically based on this nakshatra energies, the Navamsha would change, right? So because of the Navamsha ruler energy and the Navamsha's placement in the Navamsha chakra, the energies would change. The composition of these energies would change, and we'll see how these would be stabilized. Thanks for watching this video.